So
That's
That's
the
good,
most
because
realistic.
same kind of drill, right? Where we have the guys attacking from the front, from the back, from the side. You know, as we get more complex, I can make these drills even more diverse, where I throw a gun in there on one guy, throw a knife in there on one guy, and you know, we start to change it up a little bit more. Remember, we did it once with Kerbins in the morning where I put a shirt over the head and he was blindfolded. We had to work from that, from like a pitch black
Yeah.
situation, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Boom, something came up, grabbed him in the dark. Just those drills are good because they let you react however it is you're going to react. You could start your training when you know how you're going to react. If you don't know what you're going to do in a situation, you haven't really started your training yet. Everybody will sit there and tell you, I'll do this, I'll do that. You heard a guy, yeah, you couldn't do that on me because I'll hit you with a spinning back kick if you did that to the head. Like, no, dude. One, you haven't been off the couch in 20 years, right? You probably don't even know how to do a spinning back kick anymore in your life, so you're living off past glories. But the timing that you're going to need to apply such a move is such a perishable skill. You lost that timing long ago. So they have a false sense of what they think they would do because they're used to training in a controlled setting or thinking it's going to play out in a controlled setting. I'm going to kick him in the head, he's going to fall down. No, everybody gets kicked in the head different. I can line you all up and spin a back kick, each and every one of you. You're not going to react the same to it. You're all going to react slightly different. You have to problem solve. You have to be willing to find out what you're going to do in a situation like that, what other people do, and then how you deal with it, right? You saw towards the end, you started to get tired, fatigue set in, you started to forget shit, right? It was same move, done 5 times, but that last time, oh, different. You know what I mean? Why? Fatigue set in. The reaction times were not as smooth. Everyone took a little bit longer on that last move than they did on the first move. You, Albert, everything, right? So what happened there was fatigue just starting to set in. And that's a variable that people don't account for, right? They're like, oh, I don't need to be in shape to fight for 30 seconds. I can do anything for 30 seconds.
The hell you know.
Right? But you hear that all the time.
The hell you know.
That's the same guy who said about the spinning back kick. He believes, oh, I don't need to train for 30 seconds. I can do anything for 30 seconds. What he's failing to realize is when you're fighting for your life, that 30 seconds is like at the end of a marathon after you ran a shitload of sprints. Now the 30 seconds starts. So it goes and skyrockets like that quick. So conditioning is an important part of the game. I don't spend the time working condition on you with you in this class because I feel it's a waste of your time and my time, right? Like the reason why you're here is for me to give you the knowledge on how to shut down the human body, which is really what I'm showing you guys how to do. Key spots on the body, if you attack them like this, with this amount of pressure, at this time, this guy goes down like this. That's my job, is to give you a bunch of tools in the toolbox for that, right? If I use that time to teach conditioning, I'm taking away from the technical aspect of what I'm actually teaching, right? When you don't need me for that, you can do conditioning in your own time. What you can't do on your own time is pick my brain and start to get all the little knowledge and little things that I've developed over the years of just how to shut down the human body. So that's what you're here for, that's what I show you, that's why I don't waste your time on conditioning. But just because I don't teach it in this class doesn't mean it's not important. You watch any of my training, you see I do a shit of conditioning. Because it's important when you're fighting for your life. You know, all the technique in the world doesn't mean shit if you're too tired to apply any of it, right? So you got to think about that side of things too, right? And it's good today because we touched on context, right? Context of training. What are we training for, right? We're not training for belts, you know. We're not training to win a tournament, right? We're not training for recreation, for fun, right? Like some people train for that. You know, the training that we're doing here is just really to be able to get through that one bad situation that we're going to have in our life. Maybe multiple times these days that you're going to have. But you're training for that one moment in your life where you're going to be fighting for your life. Or for someone else's life. That's fucking huge. That's a big deal. And the scariest part about it is you don't know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. You know very little bit about it, but you do know that it's coming. And you're training for that one moment. Right? That's what we're doing. So again, this is why I don't teach you a certain style. That's why we're not in here learning a certain style and telling you the history behind all the style and when it was invented and the little Chinaman who fucking designed it. Like, no, all of that shit is not important. You've lost sight now of what it is that you're here for in the first place, right? Like, you don't need to know the history of these moves. If you want, I could tell you them because I know them, but that's a waste of my time and yours. If you're sitting there asking questions like that, right, that kind of lets me know where you're at, and it's not really where you need to be. You know, your questions would be, he resisted, how do I get him to stop resisting? Okay, that's shit I could show you. Okay, great, put your thumb here and drive. Hit this guy here as hard as you can, you know? Move this hand 2 inches up higher and then pull like this. That's the stuff that you should be asking, that's the stuff that I should be teaching. Where this shit came from, who invented it, we could argue about that all day, that's a waste of time. And that's what you see in martial arts schools all the time. They're more concerned with that. They're less concerned with the application. This is why they never learn to apply any of the shit that they learn. So they just know of it, but they don't know how they would even react in a fight. That's the same guy, I'll spin it back to you in the head, right? No, you won't, right? Because you've probably never been in a fight in your life. At least with a drill like that tonight, where everybody's rushing you, and we're just throwing you on the spot. They're grabbing you, you don't know how they're gonna grab you, when they're gonna grab you, who's even grabbing you, right? You don't know how much they're gonna resist because I didn't put any rules on that drill, right? So yeah, you could have done anything you wanted, right? You could have pulled the gun. You could have tried to take his gun, right? You guys could have pulled training blades. You guys, you know, you could have went for your attack band anytime you wanted, right? You didn't have to do it all empty-handed. So I left the drill very free and open like that because that's what we're training for. That's what we're going to face out there. It's going to be a free and open environment where people can do whatever the fuck they want. But you can do whatever the fuck you want. And you need to do whatever you need to do to win. I don't care which style you use and how much you know about that style. I just care if it works, right? Like, if you can break away and land that spinning back kick on that guy's chin, and you can do it to every one of us, like at will, like this, then okay, great. I'll say, awesome, you can do that. You have that move because you've earned it, right? You've shown me that you can do that under pressure at will, right? But that means you put in significant time training the living shit out of that, and I know that. But now you've earned it, right? But at least now you have a real understanding of what you can and cannot do and why you would do certain things and not do certain things. The amount of energy that I'm going to expend, I mean, you see that shit's exhausting. Doing a spinning back kick, I mean, it was hard enough just to use the energy to get to your fucking tack hand, let alone jump in the air, spin, and kick guy. Why would I waste that fucking energy? Because again, we're dealing with one guy, but his buddy's coming right behind me. If I get so fancy with him and exert myself on him, I may not have the buddy for the energy for the buddy, right? We're not thinking. Do what works. I don't care what you do as long as it works, right? So keep that context in the training and the training where it is free, it's open, right? Just because we're working a no tool response doesn't mean you can't pull your tool if that guy gives you a lot of resistance in the training. Then when he gives you resistance, how much do you drive the tool? Enough to get response. So if you're not driving hard enough and he's still resisting, drive harder. When you drive hard enough, you stop resisting. But I want his pain to tell you that that's enough rather than me verbally telling you that's enough. Otherwise, you won't know when enough is enough. So we have to kind of feel that on each other. That's kind of what we're doing with those drills. That's why I keep this format so open. I like the resistance, and I like the different trainings and different things that we bring in because it's going to make you better. Even though we're all different skill levels, we're all going to learn from each other. Everybody's got some shit to teach you, right? And you got some shit you got to learn from everyone. And everybody took something from that drill, and everybody will continue to take things from these drills.
Those drills are great.
Yep, good work.
See that back, good job.
Good to have you back here. Good to have
A
you
little
back.
bit of sweat, it's good for on me.
Sure.